It's no secret that the internet loves King of the Hill. Probably because so much of its comedy is still so memeable.
Pocket sand.
I don't really think any other show could get away with having the world-famous musician Tom Petty play a hick who survives off an injury settlement.
I'm in constant pain, but by God, I got me a $53,000 settlement.
This episode in particular is really interesting for a key difference on how the story goes, which I'm going to explain. Okay, so it's a beautiful autumn night in Arlen, and Hank is in the garage with the guys constructing props for the school's haunted house. And as typical of Hank, they are of a superior quality. Careful there, Hank. Peggy's voice actor is one of the Sanderson sisters. Now, the reason I picked this episode to highlight is this. The plot of the episode does this really interesting reversal of a typical King of the Hill episode. At first it seems like it's going to follow the standard concept of Hank bristling against a changing world. In this case being that Hank is nostalgic for the Halloween of his youth, when costumes were scary and you egg someone's house even if they gave you a piece of chocolate the size of your face. And only because they didn't give you two. And just so we're clear, that's Hank's childhood home they're egging. That's how ruthless they used to be. In contrast, the Halloween of Bobby's generation, with their fun-sized sugar-free candy bars and non-scary costumes, frustrate Hank to no end.
Where are the vampires and monsters and ghosts? Elmo, Aladdin, Jenny McCarthy? I don't even know what these things are.
So obviously, you would think that the plot would be about Hank trying to bring back that old-fashioned Halloween spookiness with his haunted house, and encountering pushback from people who want Halloween to be less scary. Well, that's not exactly what happens. It's actually the opposite. The thing Hank bristles against isn't more modern sensibilities, it's actually about this woman Junie Harper proselytizing more regressive sensibilities. To be specific, that Halloween should be banned because it's satanic. Her plan is basically to get a bunch of the neighborhood kids to, instead of go trick-or-treating, attend her Hallelujah house to try and educate them, and I'm saying educate here with air quotes, on the danger of a sinful life. And she begins her plan by roping Hank's more naive niece, Luann, into her crusade, who unfortunately falls for Junie's spiel, and the next day Luann lets slip that Hank's doing a haunted house. So obviously Junie marches right into the school to demand they shut the whole thing down, claiming it violates the division between church and state, strongly hinting that she's going to sue.
Boomhauer, grab Hagatha. There's only room for one witch in here.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, left with no choice, Peggy gives Hank the compromise to do a haunted garage so that his decorations don't go to waste. And later that night, after Hank takes Bobby out to let him try his hand at the trick part of trick-or-treating, Hank gets an idea straight out of the Bible.
You know, I'm suddenly reminded of a Bible quote. Do unto others.
Unfortunately, Junie catches them in the act, and that morning the police show up at the Hill House, and she lays it on pretty thick.
The complacency of fools will destroy them. Proverbs.
Get out of my house! Exodus!
The stupid thing is that what Hank just said is actually in there. But because Bobby actually feels bad about the situation, Luann manages to convince him that Hank is a Satanist. Well, there was that one time.
That's a clean burning hell, I tell you what!
Regardless, because of what she thinks the situation is, Luann believes the only way to help Bobby is to take him to Junie's Hallelujah house on Halloween. And because of Junie's tattling to the city council, she gets trick-or-treating banned with a curfew. Oh, I get it now. She complains about what she doesn't like, gets the police involved, and whinges to the closest authority figure so she can get her way. She's the Karen of All Hallows Eve. But thanks to her endeavors, now that all the kids at Arlen are at her Hallelujah house, it's revealed that Junie's house is focused on the evils of unmarried relations and evolution.
Oh no! He's eating the baby! Stop him, honey!
We can't. It's against the law to teach creationism.
Culminating in sitting the kids down to commit to her club for children. Meanwhile, Hank has had enough. In defiance of the ban, he suits up.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat! Trick or treat!
Flanked by the guys and a now remorseful Luann, in the process attracting every adult in the neighborhood to march on the Hallelujah house in costumes to get their kids back. And, in their final standoff of the episode, Bobby makes his choice.
Fine! Go on, all of you! More room in heaven for me!
Lady, I don't care what you call it. As long as you're there, it's hell. The episode ends on everyone in the neighborhood going out to enjoy their Halloween.